Hey guys, we're inside the barn here. We're going to actually give you a barn tour today. We're also going to talk about the history of our barn, the hopes and the potential for it. And believe it or not, our barn actually has an obstacle course. And was that a fart?
I don't know. It could have been a shart.
All right. One little thing we're gonna also show you, believe it or not, our barn has an obstacle course, so we're gonna give you guys a sneak peek of that. I don't know if you guys seen our video before of the new farm tour. We did talk about our barn then. If not, we'll drop a link up here for you. But before we get into the barn tour, I do need to go out and get my pigs their nightly snack, so let's do that first. Alright guys, so every night we give our pigs some whole corn. It's compliments of our neighbors that I did a ride along with on that combine. If you haven't seen that video, of course, we'll drop a link up there for you. But now let's get into it. We're going to go take a look at this barn and give you guys a quick tour. So there's a little mystery about our barn when it was actually built. On the concrete slab there it says 1942. However, when I was looking up the history of our property and doing some research on our property, trying to get the understanding and the background of our property, the permit shows that the barn was built in 1940. So I'm still trying to figure out when that barn was actually built and all of the history and details of our property. Right now, what we use in the barn as is pretty much as a catch-all.
It really is.
We're not really utilizing the barn for its intended purposes or maximizing the potential of the barn. We do, however, store our feeders and our crop tools and stuff like that, our garden tools and all that, things that we need on gardening here. But there's also car parts and miscellaneous shelves and other things that we probably should go through that we haven't.
But we did a lot of cleanup in here.
We did
a ton of cleanup. We still have some more to do.
Yep.
Upstairs.
Yes, we do, and we'll show you guys the upstairs and all that stuff. My hopes, and Mrs. Madison may disagree with me, but my hope is to actually maximize our potential in this barn and start focusing on the breeding and producing of goats on the property. As you guys know, we have 2 does right now, but I hope to get 2 more does and then also 2 bucks and start breeding our goats and selling kits and doing the milking in the whole 9 yards and processing the whole 9 yards. Not 100% certain how that's going to work out or how that's going to look, but in the coming years, I hope to have these filled with goats and we milk goats and do the whole 9 yards. Right now we're just going to give you guys a walkthrough. I'll just go ahead and clean that up.
I'm sorry. It's so cold in here.
Start wiping snot from your nose.
It actually isn't too cold today though.
No, it was. It's 25.
It's like summer out there. But yeah.
So, but right now we're just going to give you guys a quick tour of the barn. The barn had some work done in 2006, I think it was.
Electricity.
Yep.
Yeah, they ran electricity and then...
They ran electricity, they built these stalls and whatnot. So the barn has had some work done on it. There was a mysterious fire. In the
barn.
In the barn.
We owned it.
Yes. So there was a mysterious small fire.
This is your favorite place. Would you say this is your favorite place of the property? Like this is what sold you on it?
I like the barn. I do like the barn.
I think
like
the greenhouse
history.
is mine.
I like the history of the property.
Yeah.
I do. So I'm big into history. So each property I think we looked at has some kind of historical barn or structure on it, and that what drew me to those properties.
So back to the fire. There was a bunch of weeds outside when we first moved in here.
Mm-hmm.
It was just summer. It would just hit summer.
Yeah, the weeds are crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was inside and he was burning the weeds with the torch. Well, he got too close to the barn, and I think there was a nest or something that caught fire.
So what happened was you were going to pull the weeds, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to burn them.
Like, you know what, I'll just set the barn on fire.
Yeah, I said I'll burn them to save you from the trouble of pulling by hand. And then there was a mouse nest in the wall in between the siding, and I got too close, and flame caught the mouse nest and got behind the siding. And all of a sudden, I was actually on my way in because you had cooked dinner and had called me.
Yeah.
I was on my way inside the house, and I heard a popping noise, and I looked back and I saw smoke coming from the wall of the barn.
It was scary. It was, but you know what? We were so fortunate because of a few things.
Our neighbor.
Yes, our neighbor
Gary, who is actually a retired fireman, and Tim. And then also we had just got our well fixed and put a spigot right by the barn for our garden, to water our garden. So if we didn't have that there, the fireman said that we would have lost everything, not only the barn, but everything, all the structures on the property. Because this barn is so big, and from the heat, they said it would have just destroyed everything. So
it was a close call, but Fire Marshal Bill here learned his lesson. So let's talk about what else.
All right, so we're gonna grab the camera here. We're gonna walk you guys through. I'm gonna go and show you some things, and then we're gonna discuss the hopes, and I'll point out the hopes that I have for the barn, and then I'm gonna show you our quail and our rabbit space as well.
Yep.
So
okay, I'll get the camera. We're not doing the goat thing,
but we are. All right, guys. So again, we have 16 stalls, and we're just gonna pin on these stalls here and let you see the accumulation of things that we have.
Oh, we don't want to show the clutter.
So pretty much what we do is just, like I said, we just put everything out here, like our chicken bedding, our rabbit cages. One thing cool that we do have is our poultry carriers, and we use those. Came in handy this summer when we took our meat birds to the processor. But this year I think we're gonna just do all our processing on property. We have done it before, so I think this year we're gonna do all our birds here versus taking them somewhere else. One thing, we also use one stall as a brooder. I put some hardware cloth on here to keep the cats out, and what we do is once our birds get to a certain age, we'll bring them out here, and then we have a heat lamp in here to keep them warm until they're ready to go outside. We do have our goats in here right now, Sophia and Blanche. Those girls decided they want to jump the fence, their fence, so we brought them inside so they don't end up somewhere in the street.
These streets are tough out here.
Yeah.
But you know what? Lala Farm said, do you remember what they said that goats try to do?
If water can get through it, goats will get through it. And that is true. These girls will jump, and for some reason they don't take well to me. But mainly this is all been, like I said, a catch-all. We do have a feeder. I'm not for certain if it works or not, but I'm hoping it does.
Oh, because you're staying right here?
Yes. We do have a feeder here that I hope works because it will be coming in handy in the future. This is right here, if you guys can see this plastic up here. We put a makeshift room here, and this is mainly for our rabbits and our quail. And it's not really to keep them warm, but it's to keep heat in, to keep their water thawed. And of course
it does decent.
It does do a good job. And of course the cats made that their home as well. And we're gonna just go over there and I'm gonna show you guys that space. The hope here, guys, is to actually make this a permanent area for our quail. I do want to get more quails, and actually start focusing a lot on producing quail for not only their eggs but for meat, and make this kind of a quail area where we feed the quail, we process their eggs, we process the meat, the whole 9 yards, and then move the rabbits themselves into a rabbit barn. And I want to also, of course, get into the meat rabbits. Right now we have Dutch rabbits, but I want to get into the New Zealand's or Californians rabbits. Haven't decided what breed I want, but I do want to get into meat rabbits as well. Another thing I want to put in here temporary is going to be a wormery. And that's going to allow us to turn our rabbit manure and as well as our quail manure into a renewable resource to fertilize our garden.
All right, guys, now it's time for the main event. Actually, this is my favorite part of the barn. So let me show you the obstacle course. Alright folks, this actually is one of my favorite places. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done up here. I've cleaned out a lot of the dirt and debris that's been built up over the years. But this, for our local community, some people know the backstory, but there's definitely a really interesting backstory behind this home, but we won't get into that just yet. But I actually am hoping that I can get this all cleaned up this summer. And then we get this obstacle course functional, and this will be part of the perk of the property. So let me show you a couple things. We've got this rope walk, which actually still works. I was just on it not too long ago, and so unless it's gonna break on me, but you got this rope walk, which is super cool, right? And then we've got more rope walk. There's a bridge that actually fell down before we got here. So we're gonna fix the bridge. And then the coolest part ever. Okay, so this is my vision for this space. We're gonna redo all this. We'll keep the obstacle course, because that's the way it was built and intended for. But we'll redo all of the woodwork. I absolutely love the way this looks. It's so beautiful. And if we can get this into a beautiful space, just be amazing. Like the possibilities of this barn it's awesome. This is one of my favorite places. I gotta find the time to get out here and get it cleaned up. There's a lot to do. There's definitely a lot to do, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, and for our local community, we're gonna do it. All right, so that was just a small tour of our barn here. We've got big dreams, big goals. We'll reach them. Well, we will. We'll get there. But hey, real quick, just a reminder, you guys, don't forget to check out the sustainable living giveaway that we have, and make sure that you're looking at the hashtag and putting it in exactly the way it looks. Okay?
That's correct.
A man of many words.
Yes. So don't forget to subscribe, like, tell a million friends or two, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace. Alright, let me let these girls out.
Release the Kraken!
Oh, I love that sound.
That's a shocker.
I know. Be eating those nets. Be eating those nets, girl.